Hi, I'm here with Rajat, the founder of HyLyt, and he's going to do a walkthrough and demo for us this morning of HyLyt, and we're going to get this launched.
Hi, thank you, Jody. How are you?
I'm doing good this morning. How are you?
Good, thank you. So I'm excited to come be on the platform, and I'm excited to bring HyLyt for all of our community, everybody out there. So I think based on our last talk, so people do know some things about HyLyt. So today I'm here to give you a more detailed idea and walkthrough about HyLyt. So, Jody, should I start, or anything you want to say first, or?
No, I think we'll save feature questions for afterwards, so people can have a little more information first.
Perfect. Okay, so what exactly is HyLyt? It's a unified information management and collaboration platform. So HyLyt is a single point solution which sits on top of all the products which you're using currently, and helps you get information from any of these platforms which you need in the future onto one secure place to save it. So let me start with an example. Let's say you get 100 emails on any given day, and maybe 5 or 7 or maybe 10 might be really useful for you. How do you manage that? Any collaboration or texting platform, let's say out of 100 messages on any given day, again, you might have 5 or 10 messages which are really important and you need them in the future as well. How do you manage that? Let's take news articles. We all end up reading a lot of new stuff on different places. And maybe out of 10 or 20 things you read, maybe 1 or 2 are those which you need to come back because they help you decide things about your business. So how do you manage that? Let's move forward. Let's look at maybe browsers. You're browsing for information, doing some kind of research, looking up stuff, and you find some things which are relevant for you. Maybe 1 out of 10 things is relevant, or maybe one part of a website is relevant. How do you manage that? Relevant, and the list goes on and on. I just took the example of the 4 most common things which we all end up using almost every single day. So all this information on different platforms. There are ways to manage it on the different platforms. But if you wanted a simple and easy way to manage all this at one place, can you think of any way of doing that today? I'm sure you can't, right? Jody, any thought, any ideas there?
I did. I had a question, a quick thought. So if I have stuff, and this is kind of a nuance, but if I had stuff saved in like a favorites, or like in Google where you bookmark something, can you save that inside HyLyt too?
Yeah, of course. Anything, whatever you want, it can be saved inside HyLyt. There's no limitation, no restriction whatsoever. So just the examples I was giving, now all this information sitting in different places. You have something sitting on your email, something sitting on your chat or collaboration platforms, something sitting on your browser window, something in different news apps, and the list goes on. It could be your ERP, your CRMs, your HRMS, accounts data, your any corporate products. There is information everywhere, and there's a whole lot of it. Now, how do you manage the one which matters to you? So HyLyt gives you that option, that all the highlights of the information which really make a difference to you, you can manage all that information and get it easily and instantly from all these places onto HyLyt, even if they're of different formats. So it doesn't have to be files. It could be text, it could be chat conversations, reminders, calendar entries, simple URLs, multimedia files, all formats of information from all places you can bring onto HyLyt easily and instantly.
And you're going to show us how to do that in just a few minutes, right?
I am trying to. For some reason, I'm not able to connect. If I'm just trying while talking to you, if I'm able to
Okay.
connect, I will show it. Otherwise, we'll play a video to show that. So
Okay.
yeah, that's the one of the biggest advantages of HyLyt. Now, once we get the information on one single platform, you might say that, oh, I can do that on a cloud storage as well. But the cloud storage today, any kind of storage, is a linear storage, which works only on a folder system, because in a cloud storage, all information is linked only to a folder. The folder can be part of another folder to create your tree structure, but ultimately it's in a folder structure, whether it's on the cloud or locally. Now we are changing the game a little bit here. So on HyLyt, every piece of information, besides being connected to a folder, it can be connected to multiple other pieces of information across multiple folders. So you could have folder A, B, C, D, E, and something in folder A can be connected with folder B, something could be with C, something with D, something with E, just through a single thread, which we call, in technical terms, meta tags. And each piece of information, you can have up to 10 such meta tags for each piece. So which is why we say we make your information 10 times more powerful. So that is the advantage we get, with HyLyt, because your information is not limited or only connected to a folder. The information could be connected to multiple other pieces of information across multiple folders. Does that make sense?
Yes, and it's still hooked to the application, right? So you can still use it within there where in a storage solution you excuse me, you'd have to either download it again or connect to some sort of application to use it.
Once you get the information on HyLyt, the original source, even whether it has the information or not, it doesn't really matter, because if you with HyLyt you have both the options. You can get only the link. In that case, the information needs to be available on the original place. But the other option is you can get the entire information at the new location onto HyLyt. In that case, even if the source information is no longer available, the information is still available for you on HyLyt. And the biggest advantage on that is that if it's on HyLyt, all this information, like I said, can be interconnected. Not only can it be interconnected, it is available for you to use across multiple devices. And
So
a lot of interest. Yes, please.
So it could be kind of like a safety deposit box for really important things that you don't want to lose in a physical
Absolutely.
term.
Absolutely. So you can think of it as a deposit box for important information you don't want to lose, or some important information you want always available, or different kind of things which you want to interconnect. Let's say, like just going by the example I gave earlier, let's say you get something on an email which is relevant, and you're having a chat conversation with a colleague on the same thing, and maybe you read something in the news which is connected to that, and maybe then you're browsing and you come across something on the internet which is also connected to that. Now, 4 different random pieces of information. Today, your only way of connecting those 4 dots is putting them in one folder, right? Can you think of any other way to do that?
Right. And not and find them later.
Yeah,
And
and then
still
it's
I
a
have to
challenge.
remember. Yeah.
Absolutely. And data always grows. In a folder, the information will keep adding, and before you know it, you have hundreds of files and pieces of information there. So these 4 pieces which you got connected will get lost there, and you have no way of finding it easily later. So that's where HyLyt comes in, because HyLyt gives you those options which are not available to you today.
Well, and to be able to pull in all kinds of different information, not just a file or a picture, but a website, a bookmark, I was just thinking I've started playing with walling, so a walling page or some notes that I've made like that, because I'm trying to dump my brain in there in the middle of all my other processes. So I could connect all those ideas based on a theme with a tag on each one and still pull them all up, but still have them connected in other ways. So yeah.
Absolutely. So, and let's not limit it to these four platforms. Once you extend it, a report which your office generated, maybe from your ERP, or something which you generated from your CRM or from your HRMS. Now,
Or a
those are
product that you find somewhere that you want to refer to that you might want to here, but yeah, eBay or Shopify or a WooCommerce store or something.
absolutely all those are things which are possible now. Like, because the biggest challenge with information on different platforms is how do you connect it, and if you have to connect it on more than one place, this
Right.
yeah, because today the only option possible is a one-to-one relationship to a folder. So that is the biggest thing which we are looking at, we are changing here with HyLyt. The third big thing which we are doing is making it really easy for you to find information. So let's say you needed to look up some old information, maybe PDF files created 1 year ago, July 2019, for, let's say, one of your clients. Let's call the client Tom. So let's say you created PDF files for a client Tom 1 year ago in July 2019. Now, how much time do you think it'll take you before you can find PDF files created 1 year ago in your current filing systems, whether it's your cloud, your computer, or even your any mobile computing device?
A really long time, because my husband's name is Tom, and I know he has a lot of files.
Oh my God! I had no idea. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's great. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. So so what I'm trying to say, like, if you had to find information which is old, or if you're looking for information based on multiple parameters, it is challenging, because linear searches, as I was mentioning, based on the search which every platform has, those are easy to do. But the challenge is when you're looking to search based on multiple options, and that's where the problem starts coming up.
I love tags,
So
so I
that
love
is
the idea of being able to tag things so that I can go back and find them later.
yeah. So so
Everything should
that is
have a
exactly
tagging system.
what I'm exactly. I really don't know why it has not become a more no, open and common practice to keep doing that. So those are the three big things. If you see what we are doing, firstly, just make it easy to get information from anywhere onto one common platform, interconnected on multiple parameters. The information can be of unlimited formats, and then after the interconnecting it, find it based on multiple criteria. Because today when you search, you can only do a search based on very limited options. You can do a keyword search based on one or more keywords. Some platforms give you a linear filter that, oh, okay, you apply only one filter. On HyLyt, there are like 14 different filters. So you can literally define to the single piece of information you're looking, even from more than 10,000 pieces of information, what exactly are you looking for? Does that make sense? So essentially we put it all together and make your information very easily available and very easy to manage. So
Sounds
okay,
great.
Jody, I finally managed to get my screen connected and working, I think. Let me just give it a shot. And it might be a little sluggish, but let's see if we can give you a look and feel of what the product looks like. Okay.
Okay,
Are you
let's
able
go.
to see my screen?
I am.
Okay, so I'm just going to click on a text message and open a random text message. Okay, it's really okay. I think there's a connectivity issue because it's like really slow and sluggish. Trust me, the product is not so slow. Product is super fast.
Give it a minute, at least on my end. Okay, you can see it. Good. He just says that he
Yeah.
can see.
Okay. So let's say yes. Great. Okay. So let's take a random text message. So I'm gonna go with the text message, that one at the top, one which says July 27th. Now, let's say for some reason I wanted to save this text message for coming back and using it in the future. So today, what are my options? I can maybe do a screenshot. Challenge, it's not searchable. And uh, how do you really find it? Eats up all your memory. I can do a copy paste, but too much effort. And again, challenge to remember where did I actually end up saving it. Or I can mark it as a star or favorite. But then again, the huge thing, you might remember what you read. Can you really remember where you read it and where you put a star? So that's exactly where HyLyt comes in. So what happens with HyLyt? Now, the moment I select, let's say, the first message, I get the options to copy. I press copy, and HyLyt pops up on the screen right there. Now, if you see on this green band, on the top right, there's a one-click save option, which allows me to save this information instantly on HyLyt. Now, already it makes us better than a screenshot, copy paste, or a star. But we don't stop there. We give you complete information management. So I can click on this info button, and it opens a list of my current folders. I can choose any folder I want, or I can click on add new on the top right and create a new folder with an icon of my choice right here. Okay, so okay, so let's move forward. So far we have been able to save the information in a folder of my choice. Not only this, I mentioned about tags. So if you see the three dots on the bottom right, if I click on them to open the sub menu, it gives me a choice, and I can click on the tag menu, which is the third from the left, and I can choose up to 10 different tags which I want to give to this piece of information. Or once again, I can click on add new on the top right and create any new tags I want. I can even color code all my information. So, I can make it aqua, I can make it yellow, gray, green, blue, or simply keep it white. All the
Oh,
options
you
are right
missed the
here.
hot pink.
Oh, sorry, which one?
The hot pink. I liked it.
Oh, yeah, there, you got the pink as well.
Uh-huh. Can anybody tell me, can you see this? It's a little blurry on my end, but I don't know if it's just my internet here. I'm not getting anything yet.
Yeah, we're not.
Hopefully they're able to see clearer than I am.
Yeah, let's hope so. Perfect. So not only this, let's say I don't want to just save it. I want to be reminded about this tomorrow morning. So I can click the small briefcase icon next to the oops.
Okay, Rajat, it's
Okay,
really blurry. Will you move a little slower and see if it comes in clearer?
okay, let's try if it comes in. Otherwise, we'll have to do without it. I have no idea why it's been working fine for the last many hours, and just now it goes kaput. Okay. So yeah, so let's until that comes back. Yeah. So basically, now this what I showed you was one of our unique ways of getting information onto HyLyt, and uh, this is how information will come onto HyLyt from any app, any screen on your devices, whether it's a Word file, PDF, email, any website, your ERP, CRM, any app, any screen, this is how the information would come in. So can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can anyway.
Okay.
Rashawn, what's going on, buddy?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to
So
make
we're
sure,
experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties
Yeah.
because of the
So,
internet.
on this is a unique functionality which
Rashawn, can you hear me, buddy?
Yes, Andrew.
So we're currently experiencing a little bit of trouble right now with the internet on your end. I believe that's why it's blurry. A lot of people are complaining about it. I know you're using Minicam right now, and that takes up a lot of resources. Can you check to see if you can use 720 resolution real quick?
Yeah, I am on 720. Yeah.
Okay, you are? Okay. All right, well, let's just continue.
Maybe try even 480 if it came in clear would be better, maybe. If it will let you go there.
Should I do that?
Experience this.
Okay, let me try 480 if that makes it any better.
Yeah, you look good when you're talking, but that with your laptop when you're sharing it, it looks pretty blurry. And I know we didn't have this issue last night when we tested this out or earlier today.
Yeah, I know. That time it was I think it was absolutely clear and fine. So I have no idea what, and I used it in the day-to-day as well.
I wonder if the video coming in for him is taking up more bandwidth.
Could be. Sorry about that, folks. Anything can happen on live. So we'll get this fixed and we'll continue going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have the option to clean it up.
Yeah, let's try.
Yeah. Try it just one more time and then we'll switch to a quick live demo of the recorded. Just to give people an overview, a little idea.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to switch to this. So is it? Is it any?
It looks similar. PJ said it was very blurry, but they can get the general idea. So maybe, I don't know, maybe show a few more things and then we can play a pre-recorded video.
Okay, sure. Okay, so I was like, let's say you don't want to only save this, but maybe you want to say that remind me about this tomorrow. So if we give you that option also, you can click the briefcase icon next to the info button, select reminder, and you get on the band below, you can set the date and time, and you get an on-screen notification and a sound beep at the chosen date and time. You want to put it on your calendar, you choose calendar, set again the date and time, and it goes to your device calendar, and you get an on-screen sound alert and text alert at the chosen date and time. Now, if you see everything's happening right here, you've not left the screen, no interruption in your chain of thought. And once you come back, whether by pressing save or by getting out by clicking the X, you are exactly where you started. The screen has not moved, and you don't need to come back and find your spot, which is especially useful when you're dealing with a very large documents or large screens. And this will work exactly like this on any app, any screen, whether it's a Word file, PDF, URL, like a website, news, everywhere. It'll work exactly the same. So that's the power which HyLyt brings you. That making it really easy for you to get information from anywhere onto HyLyt. Okay, so I don't know how long this connection will last. I don't know where the problem is. So Jody, should I just jump in and give them a quick look, peek into what HyLyt looks like?
Yes, they'd like to see, even if it's blurry. They
sure.
Cody said that they'd like to see so they can follow along and have a better understanding. So
absolutely, that's the idea. So, okay, so I'm going to click on the top left, the extreme left first row, the white logo of HyLyt. I'm clicking on that. So the first thing is HyLyt gives you its own optional security. So you don't need to depend on your device security. On Android, it's a 6-digit PIN or a fingerprint, and on iOS, it's a 6-digit PIN, fingerprint, or Face ID. This is what our landing screen or the control panel looks like. So on the top, you see that we have 6 buttons which show what information I have on HyLyt. So it's showing that I have 9 calendar entries, 84 reminders, 10 notes which are marked as favorite, more than 1100 notes in my favorite folders marked as favorite, 868 notes, and 98 live chat conversations, whether one-to-one or in groups. Under that, it shows me my schedule. So today shows my schedule for today, 7 days for 7 days, and 30 days for 30 days. If you see on the right of 30 days, there's even a share option. So clicking on that, you can share your schedule of the day with anybody on any platform of your choice. Okay. Now, the other interesting thing, we have multiple chat and collaboration platforms. Whether it's there's a ton of them out there. The market leaders are Teams, Slack, WhatsApp. There's a lot of them. Now, if you're using any of them, and so all information comes into one-to-one chat windows or groups. Same thing happens on HyLyt as well. But the interesting thing on HyLyt, the difference is that in addition to it being visible in the various chat windows, on HyLyt we also give you a unique section, which we call which is called unread section. So you can go to the unread section and see all the information which you have received on multiple channels, all at the same place. So that saves you the hassle of having to go into each window to read your messages. Definitely, you have that option as well. You can, of course, do that also. But what I'm trying to say, you don't need to do that. It's a small tweak which helps you save a significant amount of time and effort. Okay. So, yeah, I think there's some major connectivity issue here.
Cody's asking if you can share information with another platform also. So I'm not sure if I understand his question.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. So from HyLyt, it gives you the option to share information to almost unlimited platforms. Anything which is installed and available on your device, you can share information on that platform. There is literally no limit. But let me also add, being an enterprise product, so let's say if your enterprise admin decides that you should not be sharing the business data, they can restrict you, and as a result, you would not be able to share any information or any specified information if you have not been given the sharing rights.
Rajat, you want to refresh your screen and let's see if that will fix the...
Yeah, well, while I'm talking to you, I'm trying to do that simultaneously.
Issue. Okay. One of the things that I found pretty interesting about HyLyt, and I'll talk for a minute while you refresh your screen, is that you can control the information that goes out, who gets to see it, whether or not they can screenshot it, whether or not they can forward it on somewhere else. Even though you're sending out data, you're in control of how that data is used. So if somebody, if somebody on your team is not completely, you have some concerns about somebody on your team, you can control that information. Of course, we all hope we have people that we don't have any concerns about, but you don't have to just give them access to be able to let all that information go. So that's one of the things that I found really helpful, because I have had some issues with a VA in the past, and that would have been really convenient to know that I could pull back all of the data and wipe it from her phone or PC when we terminated our agreement, because I still kind of wonder if some of my stuff is getting passed out to other people.
Yeah, so we have addressed that concern on HyLyt, which is why like as a business owner or the one controlling the entire data on HyLyt, so you can actually when a person is leaving or about to leave, or whenever you can pull back all information from them, because they will not be able to send that information to anyone. The entire whether it's a chat conversation, whether it's files, text notes, reminders, calendars, the entire thing, lock, stock, and barrel, comes back to the business. So the information leakage control is what we call this. So we've handled it in a very different way. So there are two levels of permissions. So one is a user, the admin can give a user zero sharing rights, which means they can only receive information from anyone, and they can not send it to anyone because they haven't been given those rights. The other thing which we have done is that, okay, maybe a person is given sharing rights, but specific pieces of information, which means maybe a confidential report, or maybe a confidential instruction or message sent to an employee, you don't want it going out. So even though the person has sharing rights normally, but for that piece of information, you don't give them the rights.
Okay. We've had a couple of questions. Are you where you can answer those, or do you want me to wait for a bit?
I think I have no idea like what's going on, because never had this issue. So I'm trying to refresh it, but it just doesn't seem to be working. It's more, either Friday evening, too much load on the bandwidth or what. I have no idea what's going on. I've never had such an issue, to be honest.
Hey, Rajat, go ahead and refresh your web browser to the actual web browser itself, and then sign back on StreamYard. See if that helps. We'll wait for you.
So I get out of I get out of ManyCam and do it directly. Is that what you're suggesting?
No. Close out your web browser completely.
Like your Google browser or Firefox or whatever one you're using.
I'm on.
This
one is Microsoft.
We'll wait for
Edge.
you while you do that. We'll talk about HyLyt. I'll mention a couple things myself.
Okay.
We just want to make sure everything's running smoothly so we continue the demonstration. All right. Sorry about that, folks. I know that it's probably a little bit of a pain to have to deal with that, but we didn't have any issues earlier, so thanks for bearing with us. HyLyt is pretty much your all-in-one, 6 different apps built into one tool, from video conferencing to cloud storage to chat, reminders, calendars, note-taking. It's all built into one app, so you don't have to use all these different other apps out there. But if you're using something like Zoom or Google Calendar, in the near future, you'll be able to take those APIs, you'll be able to take all that stuff, and it'll be built into HyLyt, so you won't have to leave HyLyt itself. You can still use your favorite tools wherever. I see Rajat's come back. Let's see if it's worked for him now. Rajat, buddy, what's going on?
Okay, tell me, is this better? Are you able to hear and see me better?
I mean, it's not any worse, so.
Okay, I have no idea. So we definitely need to avoid Fridays next time. I have no idea why this is happening.
Let's try it one more time. This app's sharing the screen, and I'll talk with you.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting for it to get connected. So as soon as it connects, I will share the screen. So okay, so just to continue. So we were talking about the data leakage control, the data security angle. So what you said is a genuine problem which almost everybody faces today. that how do you make sure that when a user or employee leaves, your data doesn't leave, or how do you make sure that you are able to pull back data, So those are the things which HyLyt has taken care of and has planned for that. Not only that, new user joins, the old employee left and a new one is joining. How do you make sure they have all the information? Because that severely impacts the functioning of the business and the efficiency of the new employee. So on HyLyt, you can transfer the entire information from the old person to the new. So that's the other advantage you get.
So pretty much when you have like an employee that joins your company, and then if they leave or something, you can either transfer that knowledge there and then or delete that knowledge so they don't have access to it after the employee leaves, correct?
Absolutely, 100%. So that is one of our very unique or key offerings. And because normally you would have that for probably an corporate email account or cloud storage. But again, then you're dealing with two different places where you need to do that. And you might end up losing a lot of reminders, calendars, chat conversations, and so many other things. But because HyLyt, everything is at one single place. So it is really easy and seamless to pull it back. You can pull back information from a user in a minute and maybe give it to a new user. All this happens in less than 5 minutes. So it's not that it's a huge process which takes a lot of time. It's a very easy and short process, and it happens instantly. And I forgot to mention, you don't even need to have the employee's device in your hand to do this. It can happen even without that.
That's one of the questions that was asked. They were wondering about sharing. They said the website says that you can share with other HyLyt users without any effort from them. Can you talk about how that works? I know how the calendar part, we talked a little bit about that, but how does that work?
Okay, so firstly, within HyLyt, we give you an option that we have given you for some products like social channels, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and for email and text messaging, you can even WhatsApp. We give you a direct button. You click it, and you're in those platforms, and you can share it on those platforms. Again, provided you have been given the sharing rights. But then besides that, we've also given you a button Other, which opens up all the other products which you have installed on your device. So it makes it literally unlimited places where you can share information, provided you have permission. Now, if you do not have permissions, none of these buttons will work. Now, just to elaborate on this, normally when you want to share information, there are two ways you can share it. One, you can share it from inside the platform, and second, you can share it from where the information is saved. Now, on all traditional or all other platforms, all the information is viewable inside the platform, and once you have seen that file or image, it is also viewable outside the platform in your media gallery and download folders. Okay, so even if you do not have access to the product, you can go to the media gallery or download folder and share the content from there. So on HyLyt, we have taken care of this, and as a result, HyLyt information is not viewable outside HyLyt. So that option is not there. So the only option left is to get inside HyLyt to share information. And to get inside HyLyt, you need to have access by knowing the pins and password. Once you cross that barrier, then you need to have permissions to share. So, there are three different checkpoints, not steps. So, which makes sure that if you do not have all the required permissions, you will not be able to share all this information.
So let me walk through really quick what I think PJ was asking, and I'm sure he'll tell me if I'm wrong. So if I have, say, some email that I pulled into HyLyt and it's mine, so I have permissions to share, and I maybe have 2 or 3 things that are tagged. Can I then send them to an employee that's a HyLyt user and it show up in their HyLyt, regardless of whether I let them share it or not, but without them doing anything else? Can they then have access to, say, an email and a URL and a photo that I send them inside HyLyt? Okay.
Yes, of course.
And
See, HyLyt is
that what you're asking?
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry if I misunderstood. See, HyLyt, okay, let me take a step back. See, HyLyt does a lot of things. It's not only a storage platform. So HyLyt is essentially multiple products in one. So it's a full function collaboration platform, like so many other business collaboration platforms which are there today. So HyLyt, anything any of these platforms does, HyLyt does as well. That's number one. So I like to say business communication, which could be emails or any IM or instant messaging platform. The emails would be, of course, for internal teams. So that's category one. Category two, note taking, where you end up taking notes for any meetings, any project notes, anything. So you can do that on HyLyt. Number three, scheduling, which would be reminders or calendars. So you can have a fully functional reminder and calendar management system right on HyLyt. In fact, here we have an interesting tweak. Let's say you needed to schedule, let's say, Jody, for this call, I needed to schedule a reminder and put it on your device. Jody, please remember, we have the session at 10 a.m. CST. I can, from here, if we are both on HyLyt, I can schedule a reminder on your device and I can choose when the reminder should pop up. So you will get a direct notification for this.
And I think that's a pretty powerful tool. Sorry. Somebody asked a question, and I'm going to incorporate what you just said into the answer to that question. They asked, and I've skipped a couple questions and I'll come back to them, but they asked if it was possible to give some use cases for HR and sales. And I think that depending on who does the scheduling, that particular scenario you talked about is a perfect scenario for being able to go through and put scheduling, having one person that does scheduling, put the sales calls all in the different people's calendars with a reminder, and even be able to send them an information file on those people. If all those people do is sales calls and they aren't the one that are gathering the information for their leads and everything. As far as HR, I would say for your management team, this is when I used to run a multi-million-dollar company years ago. And one of the things that I could see would have been a benefit for HR is to be able to share back some of the texts and emails and things that that my HR person had access to, but there wasn't a secured way for her to get them to me, other than just to come physically and show me. And then I didn't have something to refer back to that would have been secured. So I can see using that information to share with either HR or from HR back to management or executive division, however your company's laid out, without having a risk of data loss or breaking confidentiality or having people that shouldn't be able to see something. So I think, Cody, if you have other information or other questions on the HR and sales, that might give you some ideas how you can use it for that. We've also had a couple of questions on using information from within HyLyt, and somebody asked if it was possible to post directly to WordPress from within HyLyt.
Okay, so I'll just let me just add something on the HR, and then I'll come to the WordPress. On the HR side, so a couple of the key things where when we talk to our customers, current and potential. So the biggest one thing where our product helps, one is in the user engagement, because like I said, you can schedule reminders or events in every user's device. So it makes it more engaging because they directly know they don't need to make any effort, and the event gets scheduled, which could be any group activity. It could be some something related to the business, some information about the business, all that makes them more connected. Secondly, you can do a screen broadcast. So through a screen broadcast, you can send them information, it pops up on their screen. So even if they're not going into HyLyt, you can send them a screen broadcast and they will see it directly on the screens. Number three, what we were just discussing, for HR also, that's an important thing, the ability to pull back information so that it's not the business critical information is not leaving the business, and also the ability of giving it from the old employee to the new employee. So, all these things make it a very useful thing for people in HR. Now, coming to the WordPress. So essentially, like I said, sharing is almost unlimited. So it all depends. Let me just clear the air. So the way HyLyt is structured, it works with the operating systems. So as a result, as long as you have a WordPress editor installed and working on your devices, you can take information to the WordPress editor. It's not a problem. Like I said, it's almost unlimited. There are very few places you cannot take the information. Also, you had asked about sales teams. Now, for sales teams, there are multiple iterations of the product catalog, specifications, price charts, or maybe stock values, or there's so many things which could be going on for the sales team, even for them to manage their leads. I know CRMs are there and they are doing a damn good job, and we do not compete with them. But in spite of that, there are challenges, and which is overwhelming for the person on the field. So what the value HyLyt brings is simplicity, ease, intuitiveness, and information from different places all at one place, interconnected. So that is the biggest value proposition of HyLyt, that everything is there at one place, interconnected and on your fingertips, whether you're on your desk, on the move, with a client, on a break, you are never out of information. I hope I answered all the three questions.
I think so. We had somebody, Cody, actually ask about the intranet function. And so I'm going to assume he means using Google or Firefox or something inside of HyLyt, but if not, maybe he'll give us more information.
Yeah, okay. So if you're seeing on the screen, so we're showing, we have very detailed pictorial illustrative guides. That's one of the guides which explains each function, each feature. What I'm telling you are the broad, high-level stuff to help you get started. HyLyt has multiple layers, lots of stuff. And once you get into it, you can keep discovering and keep optimizing and becoming more and more productive and end up saving more and more dollars.
So you can go to Firefox or Google and go to a site and save that site within HyLyt, correct?
Yeah, so okay, in case of a website, you can either save the URL, the link, or you can save specific information.
Are there other things that you can do inside of Google with HyLyt that they might want to know? And he's also asking, how many mailboxes can you connect? Is there a limit?
Okay, so so let me just explain how HyLyt works. So the mailboxes. So for emails, we've given an option on HyLyt that from your registered mail ID, you can send, if you send out a mail to HyLyt, it becomes a new note on HyLyt. Now, which also gives you the option that if you set up a conditional forward, so any and all emails matching that criteria will automatically keep coming on HyLyt. So HyLyt is not an email client. It's an information management solution. So if you were to just push everything on HyLyt, yeah, maybe for your particular use case it might work if you get limited mails and you need to archive all of them and interconnect it. But if you're a person who gets lots of emails and not every email is useful for you, then that may not be the best option.
Right. I have way too many emails to put everything in there. Cross-linking with tags. PJ is asking about that, and I think that if I understand his question correctly, he's asking about maybe taking that picture, that email, that URL, and tagging them in multiple ways. So say I have an email that has to do with, well, say Andrew sent me an email from Rebel Alliance, and then it had to do with HyLyt, and then I had some questions on HyLyt that I tagged the answers to, and then there were some pictures that I thought might help me get some organization done in HyLyt. But then that same picture I thought might help me organize somewhere else. I could use different tags. I'm not sure I understand the cross-linking with tags, but I'm going to say that he means to like you talked about earlier, the multiple folders, kind of an option, but yet you'd be able to pull up the same thing in 2 different or 3 different places because it might interconnect with more than one type of a thing.
Okay, so what you just said, yes, it can be done on HyLyt. So whether it's an email, whether it's a picture, whether it's a link, or even if it's a PDF file, even if they're on different folders, if they have a common tag, any common tag, whether it's HyLyt or ABC or anything, so as long as they have a common tag, the moment you search for the tag or the moment you filter data based on that tag, all this information pops up instantly. Okay, so you can do that, and one piece of information can have up to 10 different tags. So when you're doing a search based on a tag, or you're filtering the data based on a tag, every piece of information having that tag as one of the tags will pop up.
Okay, so you could say, for example, save a picture with 3 different tags, not knowing what maybe what blog post I wanted to use it with yet. So I tagged it with 3 different ones so it would come up with each until I figured it out. We have a lot more questions coming in. We've had somebody asking where the data is hosted and what about GDPR?
Okay, so we are GDPR compliant. So we have no access to your data. We've built like a layer in between. So much so, even the enterprise has an admin panel which controls how the entire organization works. Admin, as in the organization, the enterprise account admin, even they do not have access to the data because the admin is not always the owner of the business. So where I don't think any owner would want their admin looking at what they're doing. So the admin only controls the sharing rights, the users, who can do what, but the actual access to data is not there even with the admin or anyone else. So that is one thing. Now, as far as data hosting is concerned, so our default hosting is in the United States on DigitalOcean. But having said that, the businesses, we give them a choice that they can host the entire data on a server of their choice in like private, public, any city, any country in the world. So we give them that option. So the data server can be entirely at their discretion.
And there is an iOS app and there is an Android app. And somebody was asking about the max number of tags, and it's 10 tags per piece of information.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of ways to cross-link it.
Yeah, the tag cloud has no limit. You can have 100, 500 tags, but any piece of information can have only a maximum of 10 tags.
is there a way to collect signatures if somebody shares a contract with a client inside of HyLyt?
Okay. Oh, you mean, like the PDFs allow you to just digitally sign a document?
Right.
No, we don't have that yet. We can look at it in the future. It's a good thought, but we don't have that today.
Okay, Cody was asking, so I wanted to make sure we got that answered. One of the things that we talked about originally, Rajat, was that you have a HIPAA background. Were you able to find out if people can use this in a controlled medical environment?
Okay, well, very interesting. You should mention that. So I've been in the healthcare space for more than 20 years now. So I've been working with HIPAA for a long time. So in fact, the healthcare space is one of our prime targets because all the components which you need to manage a patient-doctor experience, with our video call there, whether it's transcription notes or prescriptions, whether it's the medical records files, whether it's scheduling on the calendar, or whether it's reminders for taking your medicines on the reminder option. Everything is available at one single place. So as a result, that is one of our areas of focus, and that's one of the places where we are looking to push HyLyt for healthcare in the US. So that
Excellent.
yes. And again, in healthcare, imagine the advantage, multiple medical reports and files. Now imagine if you are, as a patient, you get the option to tag and organize it, so you know exactly where all your path reports are, you know where your MRIs are, you know what your CT scans are. One report can have, whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or PET scan, or path lab. It can also say for which part of the body it is. It can say for what ailment it is, or which doctor did it, which month it was done. There can be so many options and ways you can organize it so that all your information is available to you in the right time at the right place. Hello?
There is a roadmap available. Is it at HyLyt.co or is it elsewhere?
Yes, so it's on Trello, and I think Andrew will be sharing the link because it's on the once the deal goes live, it's on the page. It will be on the
Okay,
deal.
excellent.
Yeah, it's there. It'll be there.
Is there anything else that you can think of that you want to cover in the demo or while we're on live talking about the app before the deal actually launches here in just a short bit?
Sure. So, okay, yeah. So, I was only talking about what all is there in HyLyt. So, we spoke about the collaboration platforms. Then we spoke about the note taking, the reminders, and the calendars. Now, in addition to that, we have video conferencing. Then we have what is known as read it later products. You have some products which allow you to just save information or links to come back and read it later. So we have that also as an option available on HyLyt.
Something that's kind of like Pocket or something like that, but it's saved within HyLyt.
Well, thank you so much. I was not taking the name. So whether it's like Pocket or Google Keep, so what they can do, we can do as well. So we have those here. And another interesting thing I'd like to mention, because we were on the point of data security. So HyLyt also gives you the option that there are two interesting things we give you. One, that selected chats, one-to-one or group conversations, you can hide and password protect them. So as a result, that if you do not, even if someone has access to your device, or you're using your device in a way that someone else can see the screen, if you do not want certain information showing on your screen, it doesn't need to show there. You can hide and password protect certain things. Secondly, we have a very interesting option on the chat groups. That on the HyLyt chat groups, you can have what we call a ghost user, which is essentially an invisible user. So the group can have a user. Nobody knows the user is there except the user, and the user knows what exactly is happening in the group. Now, there are a lot of use cases there. It could be safety, moderation, training, preempting problems, or simply having your hands on the pulse of your business, knowing what your team is doing. So that's a very interesting feature which people are loving, because it helps you stay on top of things and not be dependent only on the reports and the feedback coming in. You know exactly what's going on.
We've had a few more questions and a couple of really interesting ones. Multi-language, which we haven't talked about, so I don't have any idea. Is multi-language available?
Not today, but it's on the roadmap. So depending on which ones our consumers are asking for more, we'll get that one out first.
Is there a backup and restore function?
Yes, we do. We have a backup and restore function.
Okay. And can they create different groups with different permissions or different rights?
Absolutely. So on the enterprise version, the groups are created only by the admin. So you can decide which groups are created or which are not created. Okay, so you don't want any groups of some troublemakers, as they say. So
right.
And then so you can decide which groups are formed with who. And also after that, within the group, we have 4 different levels of permissions for people. So level 1, they can only read. Level 2, they can read and write. Level 3, they can read, write, and they can delete information, like an admin. And level 4 is when they are the ghost users. So they are only there, but nobody knows they are there. So and each group can have as many people of all the different permissions. And on HyLyt, there is no limit on the number of people in a group, and there is no limit on how many. If you're forwarding information, how many people you can forward to. We have not put any limits on those.
I'm going to talk next to this question that's on the screen. Is there a use case for HyLyt in academia, K-12, and collegiate level? From an administrative point of view, from my background, I can see using it in a couple different ways. And I don't know from a pre-K and early elementary that you'd want to use it with students at all. But communication inside of a school, administrators to teachers, teachers to school counselors, school counselors to parents, keeping that, there's a lot of confidential data in there. I can see where that could be useful. Keeping track of and having those conversations that happen saved inside there for backup and to cover your back if you're a teacher. I can see that being very useful. In college, you maybe could use it, and maybe even in high school. I'm not sure with the under 18 crowd with the legalities of all of that, potential confidential discussions going on. But in college, I can certainly see inside a classroom virtual chat. Say my daughter's had to go virtual this year since COVID, and she's had some text back and forth with teachers and things like that. And then sometimes, you get answers, sometimes you don't. Sometimes there's class, sometimes it's had to be rescheduled. Everybody's lives are changing. So I can see for an instructor that's having, say a dozen virtual classes where they were in person before, sending out, pushing, because you can put stuff on people's calendars, pushing out assignment dates, pushing out
absolutely
all of those things, and then having that discussion per individual and still being able to have a group discussion for the class would be pretty valuable.
Absolutely. So just adding a few points there, you can do video conferences, conferencing. The teachers can manage all their content. again, whether interconnected or non-interconnected, and different kinds of content. You already covered the communication part. And also the reminding them and pushing them to make sure they attend the classes or submit their assignments, even sending out assignments to the students, collection of assignments, all of the things. And the amazing thing is, because if you're on the move, you can use it on the mobile. If you're sitting at your desk or home, you can use it on the computer. There's no extra effort required by you to port the data from one to the other. That's what makes it really interesting, because you have all the functionality across multiple devices of different kinds.
And we haven't talked about plans or anything yet, so I don't know how that would work from an administrator to a bunch of people that wouldn't really have anything but read writes. So that will be a whole nother discussion. But we did have a question asking if the software was 100% ready right now for the medical space.
Yeah, definitely. We'd be happy to test it out with the person interested. If they have any concerns, we'll look into it, because from our side, it's ready and good to go. But
so from your side, it's HIPAA compliant already.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
That we have taken care of. But having said that, if some people are looking to add maybe extra security layers or any such thing, such customization, we can definitely discuss those options as well.
Okay. One of my husband's clients is actually a small practice locally,
Okay.
so we may try and test that out.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, of course.
So is there a log where they can check in to see what's happening within a group or within the HyLyt software?
A log. Well, we have a log to know which admin logged in when and logged out when. And we have a user log coming up, that which user logged in when and logged out when. But a complete activity log for each user, we don't have one yet, but yeah, we can look into that. That can be something we can put on the roadmap.
Okay. Let's see. They meant a downloadable log sheet. So something that you could print out that would tell you who's logged in and out when. Is that what you're asking? It just says Facebook user, so I'm sorry I don't have your name.
Yes. So like I mentioned, the admin log sheet is already there, and the user log sheet will be there very soon. But the activity sheet, if required, we can get that also. It's not a big deal.
Okay. Somebody's asking if we can connect to Google Drive. Yes,
Google?
you can, but I don't know if it's in the way that they're meaning. So do you want to?
You connect to Google Drive as in save information on Google Drive, or what's the thought?
That's what I'm not sure what they're asking. Facebook user, are you meaning can you bring information into HyLyt that's in Google Drive, or?
Okay, let me answer it. If you need to get information from Google Drive onto HyLyt, like I said, you can get information from any product into HyLyt and vice versa. But if they are looking that can they connect Google Drive to HyLyt to have the cloud storage, have this data storage on Google Drive. So again, that's part of our roadmap, and that will be coming out very soon.
Okay, so yes, to save and get data is what they're asking.
I'm sorry?
They said yes, to save and get data.
Yeah. So if it's to use that as a storage place, so we have that coming up. But getting data from Google Drive to HyLyt, and from HyLyt to Google Drive, you can do that even today.
Okay. All right. I think that was the end of our questions. Andrew, if you're listening, do you want to let us know or let people know when the deal goes live? Is it live now? It looks like it's rebelliance.com/product/HyLyt. So the deal might be live. Maybe. Deal is live. Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, we're done here for today. Thank you for joining us, Rajat, and telling us all about HyLyt. And good luck with the launch.
Thank you. And I'm really sorry about this technical glitch for which we couldn't do the complete screen share. I'll get a video to you, or we can do it maybe again later. And thank you so much, and look forward to have all of you on board using HyLyt. Thank you.
Thank you.